You also took your art to a level where you were getting 6-figure contracts in LA.
Yeah.
That's stuff that most budding artists dream of.
Right.
And you went through it, left it, and now you're flipping homes.
Yeah.
What was that experience like in LA?
LA was my greatest dreams and also my worst nightmares combined. Yeah.
In what way?
In both ways. So God, you know my relationship with God, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
I know we will.
But God's funny in how he says that that his word is true, you know? And I was running from God at the time that I was in the industry in LA. Mm-hmm. And one of the big things is that I prayed a silent prayer that nobody knew about, right, when it came to music. And I loved music so much, and I loved the creation part of it so much, that my prayer was that all I ever wanted to do was work with people that I looked up to, that I was just blown away by, and I wanted them to consider me their peer and their equal. And I got to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the people that I got to work with at Skyline in Los Angeles went on to do, you know, multi-Grammy winning, multi-platinum plaque owning, you know, like I got to work with some people that are now hitters in the industry. And I got to help curate a space there in Los Angeles in the studio that we were in that my input and for how we would call it, my mana or kuleana that I held over that space made an impact to where I watched it change from when I first got there to 4 years in. We became the studio that when everybody else was done with their sessions, all the writers, all the musicians, they came to our studio for jam, you know? And it was dope, you know, like I got to have my bro Mox out, you know, come experience that space. And it was beautiful. You know, I tried to invite you out. I remember.
I was not in a place.
No, but so it was incredible. It was an incredible experience on that side. I got to experience some very dark sides of the music industry. I got to experience being in over my head and not having the proper representation and getting screwed over in the industry.
What does that mean, the dark side of the music industry?
There's a real evil that exists there, you know? And I think anybody that's actually really swung in those areas. What's really funny about the industry, dude, and anybody that really has started to move in that area will tell you this, is that it's like Hawaii. It's small. It's so small.
The music industry is small.
The industry is small. You know, like once you start moving at a certain level, even a lower level, people start to know who you are. Everybody's in the same studios. Everybody's friend has the same agent. Everybody's got the same managers. Now you have people that are in stratosphere level, you know, and we all know those artists. There's artists that are stratosphere and they probably deal a little bit differently, but in that middling kind of like lower upper crust, like it's small, you know, like, you know, everybody, you know, and people talk and what is done in the dark comes to the light, you know, and there's some very dark things that get done there. And one of the things that you will see, to keep this PG, you know, but that I know anyone that's watching this, that's been in these spaces, will relate to this specific thing. If you have light in you, and it is a part of who you are, one of the baseline ways that this begins in that industry is, one, everybody comments on it. It's a constant comment on, oh, your light, you like your, oh, I love your energy, I love your light, you know. But at the same time, they are simultaneously constantly trying to push your boundaries. It's in small ways, and it's all these little ways, you know. If it's you saying that you're faithful to your partner, they push that line. If it's substance, they push that line. If it's money, they push that line. But there's just kind of this constant, ever-present pushing.
Like an assessment to see if you're controllable.
If you're really about that. Like when you say like, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is what I believe in. Okay. Still?
Like initiation, figuring out, are you ready for this? Or
I'm not going to go into all that. I won't go down that because I feel like that gets conspiratorial and people are like, oh no. It's just, if you worked hard enough to be in a position where there's been opportunity presented in front of you, I believe that you will understand what I'm talking about. That there is a desire to kind of prove that your goodness is not true. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
You know, it's a temptation. It's an ever-present temptation. Like, you sure? You know, the way I see that and the way I look at that now is that is my ideology of that comes behind the fact that, you know, Lucifer was the director of music, you know, and I believe that people of God make amazing music, you know, but there is always going to be that ever-present element in musicians and musicianship, you know, that element, that call that you are bigger than God. Look at you. You're bigger than God, man. You're bigger than everything. And if you look at it, and most people that have experienced it, I think can relate to this, is that there is always a play for your ego at play. Yeah. Everybody's first play is for your ego because it's the easiest thing to feed, you know? They play for that ego, like, oh man, you
feels good.
You Taisei, right?
Yeah.
Damn, dog, I heard about you, Taisei. Yeah. You really be doing it. You know what I'm saying?
That's me.
But to get back to the overall experience, it taught me a lot. But the biggest thing, and this is, I never said this to anybody publicly, but me and you have talked about this privately. Music taught me that my family is the most important thing in the world to me.